that. So, all
Okay.
right. Well, I am so excited today to have Dr. Mary Welsh joining me. What an inspiration. Mary, I'm so glad that you responded to my request to have help Sam Baker out with launching his book, The Oscar the Mouse, and that you are willing to donate a couple of books to us. But I started reading your background here, and I'm just going to read it just to tell people a little bit about you. Mary is an author, a national speaker, coach, and grief session facilitator. She took the tragic loss of her daughter, Susie McBride Welch, and used it as a catalyst to document her grief journey as an avenue to aid other grieving individuals and families adapt. And I love your four aspects, the four P's that you have here on helping people in their journey toward grief. So I'm going to ask you, Mary, if you would be willing to share a little bit about how did you come to know that this was kind of God's plan for you, and how can we help you in this incredible nonprofit organization that you've designed? So thank you, Mary, for
Yeah.
being with me.
So thank you for that intro and for offering to have me on today. And I apologize for the glare on my glasses.
No worries.
But here's my girl. This is my daughter Susie,
Oh,
and she was 31. She passed away a couple of years ago, and she was truly an inspirational kid. She always helped. She rang the bell for Salvation Army, gave back, food drives and clothing drives and all kinds of things. She was a humanitarian, um, and helped out. And so she left a void when she passed on, and so I started seeing a therapist to help me on my grief journey. And my grief journey, when I was speaking to her, she said I had a unique way of looking at things. And it really reflected around what you called, the four R's. And it's um, to remember. Now, this is for anybody that's lost someone or lost an animal or, lost a job, any adversity that they have. They could use these similar things with it. One is to remember, so the good, bad, or the indifferent. Two is to reflect, so what impact did they have on you and you have on them, and just cherish that. And then the third one is to recreate. And I liken it to being an author. We are the authors of our life and we get to write the next chapter. And so just as in a good book, you're reading it and somebody's in there and then the next chapter they're not in the book anymore.
right.
You could write your story that way, or you could incorporate your loved one into your future, and that's what I call weaving it forward. And so that's what I do. I create opportunities with my grandchildren, for example, to make cookies. Grandma's favorite recipe, grandma's favorite, pull out her cookbook, and we talk about grandma. So grandma weaves forward. um, and then the fourth one is to relate. And to relate is actually three-pronged. One is you need to take care of yourself, because we can't help anybody if we
Right.
can't help ourselves.
Mhm.
Two is to help others. So my writing gave me the opportunity to meet people like you and your readers and viewers, to possibly help them. And then the third one is to give back in the community. So my journey started with, I finished Journey into the Looking Glass. It's finding hope after the loss of loved ones. And really, it's about my journey. It's how I healed. There's no right, there's no wrong in how you heal. It just gives you some tidbits of how I and my family did it. And if you take one morsel from it, one little nugget, then the book was worth it for
Yeah.
me, right?
Right. Right.
And then I thought about it, and I like to journal. So I created a journal to go with it. And so it takes those four aspects of positive reflection, and it's woven through here. And so really it's just, some short pages in there about what did you do around those four things, and then what did you do for yourself, and what did you do for someone else that day. And
Wonderful.
so sometimes we need a reminder when we're in the throes of grief to get up, to treat ourselves, go for a walk, whatever it is. And maybe it's, calling somebody and listening to them as they tell you their story, so it could
Right,
be as simple
right.
as that.
Wonderful,
But as
wonderful.
I responded to you because of Sam, because he was talking about a children's book.
Yes.
So as I was going through my grief journey, I have 5 grandchildren. And so I decided to take all the questions that they gave me, and I created this book. And it's Susie Q's Positive Reflections. Again, that positivity theme going through everything. And we go through the 4 R's in here as well, but it's really about my special angel. And it's all the questions that they ask are answered in the book. So here is my Susie with her 5 nieces and nephews. And I'll just show you a page. So this one says, "Where did you go?" And Susie is up here in the corner of every page, and she says, "You're never alone. I'm always with you.
Oh,
Just look for the signs and talk to me." And then it shows in the clouds, in the stars, why she's sleeping, why she's at the beach, why she's in the garden. And so it's a dialogue starter.
right, right,
So really you
right.
could take any loss that they had, and you could assimilate it to this book. And
Yeah,
I've had a lot of people tell me that it's been a nice way to talk about death without bringing up kind of the moroseness of it, the
right,
really sad
right,
aspects.
right.
And so, can you hear me? Yes, I'm always listening. And they tell different parts, different stories, graduating and playing football or basketball or whatever.
Wonderful, wonderful. It just sounds like an amazing thing for kids. I was a school counselor and then an outpatient therapist for many years,
Okay.
working with children. So, what a tremendous thing because they go through so many things, not just the death of a person, but going through divorce and going through a lot of those kids now going through the loss of being able to go to school and connect with their friends. So during this pandemic, this is really a tremendous opportunity to visualize things different. I love the visualization thing.
Yeah.
So now, Mary, tell me more. I know you've also got a coloring book, and then tell us
Yeah.
about your nonprofit that you started.
So this is a coloring book. It's the same theme, but it's good characteristics. And this came about because we started a nonprofit, and it's got alphabetical words of good characteristics, and then at the bottom it has positive sayings for the children. And it really came about because these are my comfort bags. This is my nonprofit, Susie Q's Kids, and we comfort kids. We brighten and inspire the lives of a child, one bag at a time. And those 2 books are a component of our bag. My daughter, when her birthday came around after she had passed, I'm like, oh no, we have a pool in the backyard and it's the gathering place for everybody, right? And so everybody wanted to come over. And I said, Susie smiled always. And she would hate it if we all sat around and cried and were sad. So I called and said, open, the barbecue will be open, but we're going to make bags and we're going to give them to foster kids. Because Susie had a friend when she was younger, and all her things were in a black garbage bag. And she
Oh,
thought that that was terrible. And so they all came, and I just bought 50 duffel bags and figured, if I fill them, I fill them. If not, I'll go to the store and I'll fill them afterwards. They were so full. I had 3-year-olds to 90-year-olds standing around, laughing, talking, sharing stories,
oh,
and putting these bags together. And I said, That's what life's about. It's about
Absolutely.
remembering and cherishing those memories. And so that was the nugget that born the nonprofit. And we are so happy to be able to brighten and inspire
Wow.
kids. And so when you put out the plea for children's books, I absolutely had to respond to Sam and
Oh,
say, on board.
what an
And
amazing.
I did this, which is a symbol. And you might try it. Every picture that, every occasion that we have, my daughter is always with us. But how do we know that when we look back? How will we know she was at graduation or a wedding or a baby shower or whatever? So we would say, Susie, and put our thumbs up in the air. So 3 years now, we have pictures of everything. And you always know Susie was with us because somebody in the family has their thumbs up
Their
in the air.
fingers up. What an amazing thing. Oh my gosh. I just love this story, and I would love to take part in taking this to the world. Now, do you have people across the world, across the United States that are taking part in this? Have you gone the distance or what?
So it's been a healing journey for me.
Mhm.
I just finished all 4 books. We've got the materials for our bags. We've ordered books to put in the bags as well. And we're just at that next step.
Oh,
And with COVID, we unfortunately lost several family members. And one of them, my mom, just passed, not from COVID,
oh,
but I think from the sadness of COVID.
right.
Um, we just lost her. So
Oh,
I am just ready right now to take it to the next step. My visual, I always say you need a visual. My visual is my daughter and my mom up in the clouds. They're in a beautiful place, and they're as my daughter's another daughter said, I'm walking on sunshine. Oh yeah.
oh, oh,
So
goodness.
they're with the Lord, and they're in a good spot. So
Amen. That's just phenomenal. Well, I truly believe that each and every one of us are created for a purpose, and it's a purpose that nobody else in the whole world could ever fulfill that purpose, because we're all different and we're here and we've got different opportunities, and Susie fulfilled a purpose while she was here, and she continues to fulfill that purpose across the world. I just think that is so awesome. And I'm a visionary, so of course I'm envisioning, oh, let's do a Kickstarter like Sam did to write his book, and we could get people involved and people could, fund this all over the nation. And I know how difficult it is for foster kids and kids who are even in the hospital who are struggling. There's so many kids this would be such a tremendous benefit to. So I'm excited that you did contact me. I know with what we're doing with Sam, who, by the way, and I think you know this, but in case our listeners don't, Sam is a 98-year-old World War II veteran that spent his entire life almost in the military serving our country. And then
God bless.
at 95, decided to write a chapter book called The Silly Adventures of Petunia and Herman the Worm. And both of his books, the second one is Oscar the Mouse, both of them talk about our differences and how, we have perceptions of how things are, and we have this negativity and this judgment about how things should be, or how they're going to be. And kind of like, I can even liken it to your outlook on grief. We think grief should be sad. Somebody died and we're going to be sad and we're never going to get out of that pit. But if we look at things differently, we're going to find that we feel differently, because how we think causes what we feel, and how we feel is what causes what we do. And as you walk through your grief journey, I know there were times when maybe you wanted to give up or you wanted to do things. A lot of people turn to alcohol or drugs or suicide when they're grieving. But with a different perspective and imagination and having the vision of something better, that you could use that to help, that's what turns it around. That's what Sam's books are about. That's what I've got a book on domestic violence, and I've got a couple books. One's on my ADHD, another one is on meditation, going through life's challenges. So I think we are all, I think, meant to be authors, and about, gosh, 85 to 90% of people think they have a book. Someday I'm going to write a book, but only 5% of us actually do. And that's what makes the world go round. So thank you so much. This is so exciting that you're willing to donate this. Now, tell me
We
how
could do it. We could do it one bag at a
we can do
time.
it one bag at a
We
time. And
could
that's,
we could fill this with all kind of goodie books and give it to the
oh
children. They would
my,
just
they
imagine the smiles. Just imagine
absolutely.
the smiles.
And I know Sam is going to love this too. And finding a way to hook that up and put one of Sam's books in your
Oh yeah.
bag. I mean, think of that, how cool that would be. It's just been amazing, and the turnout of people that are donating books to our cause to get the word out it's amazing. And I would love
This
to
little angel here is just smiling from the clouds.
she is, and I would love, you've got a launch coming up here in the next couple weeks, right?
I have three of them
3
actually.
launches, okay.
Yes, I'm launching this Thursday. I'm launching my adult grief book, and then next Thursday I'll be launching my coloring book. And then on the 30th, I'll be launching my journal. I've already launched my children's book, but
That is
yes,
amazing, because I'm going to be relaunching my book as well here within the next few weeks. So I think we should partner, and that's what it's all about. There's no competition in this. We're all unique and different and have different purposes. So I'm excited to have met you, Mary, and to be working with you and to seeing where we're going. Now, I'm going to, of course, connect your link, but if people want to get to know you and find out more about you, what's a good spot for them to go to hook up with you?
they can look at Susie Q's Kids. It's Susie SUSIEQS KIDS.org. That's our nonprofit. And then if you want to learn more about my books, you can look at Dr. Mary Welsh, WELSH.com.
MaryWelsh.com. That's amazing. And I'm looking at Susie Q's behind you. So if people are looking, you
Oh
just use
yeah.
that, except for the apostrophe isn't in the website. Just Susie Q's Kids without the apostrophe.
Correct. Yeah.
Right?
So here's a close up
Okay,
there.
Susie Q's Kids, one bag at a time. I just think that is so awesome, and you've done just a great job with this. And I just can't thank you enough for your willingness to share and for the ministry that you have got, the mission that you are offering to the people around the world. And I just know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to get involved with this. Now, do you make the bags at home, or do you have an organization? Can people donate to your nonprofit to
You
help you
can
with
you
this?
you can go on the website and you can donate directly to the nonprofit.
Okay. All right. Very good.
And these books are on Amazon
Okay.
as well, and a portion of the proceeds goes directly to the nonprofit, so that
Okay.
helps me to fund the nonprofit. So I know
Very.
a kid that is maybe in a good space right now,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
reading the books, and a child that needs some comfort will get them as well.
Oh gosh, thank you so much, Mary. It's just been a pleasure getting to know you. We'll be doing more in the future, and people can find you on Facebook to see your launch coming up here in the next couple of weeks. And I will have that information on here as well. So thank you, Mary, and we'll be talking to you again soon.
God bless.
All
Thank you.
right, you too.
Bye bye.